All right. Hi, my name is Isla Jean Babcock. Today in yoga, do not push yourself beyond your limits. If something is painful, please stop and don't do that pose. You can go to your edge and stay there and relax and breathe into that edge, but do not, please, push yourself beyond your limits. So we're going to start with what's called a three-part breath. So you can lie down on your mats and you can either have your knees bent or you can extend your legs long on the floor. And what we're going to do is we're going to inhale fully into the belly, the ribs, and the chest. Then exhale chest, ribs, and belly. So it's a longer breath than normal, and it's slower, but not forced. So we're not going to force it real hard. We're just going to take it to the edge and then bring it back. So soften your jaw, your face. You can close your eyes. With each exhale, try to release and soften. So we're going to try to keep our mind on the breath, just following the breath as it comes and goes. If you find your mind starts wandering around, let the thoughts go. Come back to the breath. So one of the ways to control tension is through the breath. If we breathe slowly and deliberately at any time, you can do this at your desk. You can feel yourself getting stressed. You can do it anywhere. Just lengthen the breath. Make sure the exhale is equally as long or longer than the inhale. And come inward, knowing that everything happens as it should. Alrighty, if your knees aren't bent, bend your knees and roll to your right and push yourself up to seated. We're going to do a few neck stretches, so you can either sit in a comfortable cross-legged position, put some blanket underneath your hips to help your knees drop down, or you can extend the legs long out in front of you, however you can find comfortable. So we'll take our right hand straight out to the side, straight off the right hip. We're going to drop this left ear towards the left shoulder and lengthen on this right side of the neck by reaching through the crown of the head. We're going to sit up and lift the chest, reach the crown of the head, soften the jaw, close the eyes. Focus is inward, focus is on this neck. And you don't have to force the neck real hard. Again, just nice, easy stretch. The body releases better if it doesn't feel threatened. Slowly bring your head back to center. We're going to look down towards our left thigh, left armpit, left hip, and shift this right hand a little bit behind us. We're going to now focus on this back right side of the neck, between the shoulder and the spine, again lengthening through the crown of the head. Breath is even and easy. You can even move your head around a little bit and find your best stretch and then just stay there. Everyone's level of flexibility is different. So your neighbor may look different than you, and that's okay. You just come to your edge, find your limit, and you stay there. Back to center, nice and slowly, hand back to the lap. We'll sit up straight, and we're going to drop our chin towards our chest, just letting it fall forward. Don't force the chin down, just let the head fall. Breathe into the nice stretch in the back of the neck. So anytime we're not using the eyes to balance, it's nice to close the eyes and take that focus inward. slowly bring your head back to center. We're going to work on the other side. So you're going to look down towards this right thigh, right hip crease, right shoulder, and shift your left hand behind you, sort of at a 45-degree angle. Reach through the crown of the head. Find length in this back left side of the neck. Breathe. So this stretch should feel good. It should feel nice. Always be careful with the neck. Especially don't push it too far. And it's more of a lengthening as we stretch the neck than trying to drive the head down. Slowly come back to center. Left hand goes out to the side. Fingertips are on the floor. Right ear drops towards the right shoulder. But again, it's not how far you can get that ear down. It's how far you can lengthen through the crown of the head, letting the right shoulder drop down and away from the ear, focusing completely on this left side of the neck. Keeping the jaw soft, breath even and easy. Nice, bring that back to center. Let's take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. All right, we're going to come into what's called cat-cow. So you're going to come onto your hands and knees. The knees are going to be under the hips. The wrists will be under the shoulders, if your wrists will tolerate that. You can spread your fingers wide, but your thumb's only about halfway. If your wrists don't like this, move them ahead, move them out to the side. Find what works for you. So we start with the cow pose by dropping the belly down towards the floor. Don't push it. The tailbone tips up, and we look forward and we draw the shoulder blades to flatten on the back by kind of drawing the chest forward. Then cat pose starts to roll these hips down and under, arching all the way up, tucking the chin gently and reaching. Buttocks is tight. Inhaling, we're going to come back into cow pose. Let the belly fall. Tailbone tips up. Look forward. Don't bring the head way back. Just look a little bit forward. And back up into cow. Inhaling cow pose. And then exhale cat. You can start to move at your own pace. Using the breath, we exhale as we rise. We inhale as the belly falls. Focus is on the spine. We inhale up and down nice and slowly. Jaw stays soft. Breathing. It's a great way to release the spine, release the neck. Alrighty, everybody come back to neutral. We're going to come into a lunge, so you're going to bring your right foot forward. You can drag it around and bring your right knee so your right knee is over your right ankle and not past it. Then you can slide your left knee back until you find some stretch in the front of the right hip, the right groin. And we're going to engage the buttocks. You can come up onto your fingertips if your wrists don't like being on the ground. The belly is going to engage, and we're going to put the head straight on the spine and reach through the crown of the head. So that's going to mean you're probably going to drop your chin a little bit, lengthen through the back of the neck, breathe into the stretch in the front of this left hip. You can also come up onto fists too, if your fingers don't want to be in up on the fingertips. Okay, very slowly we're going to start to rock these hips back, and we're going to walk the hands back. So just rock your hips back and only come back as far as you can. Try to keep your big toe on the floor. Try to drive that big toe back to the floor. Find a stretch in the back of this right leg. Again, don't push it too far. Just to where it's nice, comfortable, easy stretch. You can close your eyes and breathe here. Okay, let's release that. We'll bring our right leg back and we'll work on this left side. So the left foot comes forward. The knee is over the ankle. Hands can be down. You can make fists, hands, palms on the floor. Slide your right knee back to find a stretch right here in this right hip. Engage your buttocks to support the body. Drop the chin and reach to the crown of the head. And let's breathe. If your hands don't reach the floor, you can always put blocks underneath your hands, blankets, some sort of a prop. Slowly we're going to rock those hips back, walking the hands back, and only come back as far as you can, finding stretch in the back of this left leg. Try to push your left toe, big toe to the floor. Breathe. Okay, release that leg. I'm going to bring that leg back and we're going to come into what's called downward facing dog. So you're going to have the knees hip distance apart. And so we're in tabletop here and the wrists are under the shoulders, but you're going to want to take them a big hand length forward. Take them up forward on the mat. So with the knees hip distance apart, we're going to curl those toes under, and I want you to pick your hips up into the air and rock yourself back, pushing some weight back into the feet. You can let your heels gently rest towards the floor, but do not force the heels down. Push with the hands and lift with the tailbone up towards the ceiling. The head can just hang. Downward facing dog. So, can I touch you, Dawn? So we're bringing the hips up here. Softening. You don't want to sink into the shoulders. You want it nice and strong for the shoulder girdle there, and breathing. Softening into the heels. If at any time you want to come down, you don't want to stay up, you don't have to. You can hold the poses as long as you like. We'll stay here for a little bit longer. Relax your neck and head. All right, ever so slowly bring your knees to the floor. We're going to come into what's called child's pose. There's a few variations. You can just sit back on your heels and extend your arms out overhead. If you reach them towards the top of the mat, you'll get a little bit more of a shoulder stretch. If your forehead doesn't come to the floor, you can stack your hands and put your head on top of your hands. You can also widen your knees out, keeping your toes together, and allow your torso to come between the legs. So if you're doing child's pose for the first time, try these different variations and see what works for you. And if you're really comfortable in child's pose, you can bring your arms down alongside your body with the palms facing up by the feet. Make sure that your neck doesn't overextend here, that it's in a nice neutral position, and we're breathing. Child's pose is a restorative pose. So to come out of child's pose, you bring the palms of your hands to the floor right above your knees and push yourself up. Nice. So we're going to slowly come to stand. So nice and slow, engage your belly when you come to stand. We're going to do a standing side stretch. So the feet are going to be hip distance apart. Spread your toes if you can. So the palms are going to face up and we're going to reach behind us. And then you're going to grab, your right hand is going to grab your left wrist. And then you're going to lean to the right. Finding those left ribs. So it's not how far you can force yourself down. You're pulling up and out towards the ceiling. Slowly come back to center. Going to take our left hand and grab our right wrist. And again, lifting up towards the ceiling and a little bit over to the left. So we don't want to compress the spine on the inside of the body by trying something like this. We're lengthening up. One more time, we'll grab the right hand, grabs the left wrist. We're going to reach for another breath. Back to center, left hand grabs the right wrist and we'll reach. Release the arms and then we'll just rock the hands back and forth. So you guys that are out in the room want to turn and first face me. So we're going to do Warrior Two. Warrior Two is a nice wide stance. Our right foot is going to point straight out at the front of the mat, centered in the mat. The left foot is going to be coming in. So her toes are going to be closer to the midline than the heel, and they can come a little bit further. Closer to the midline than the heel, and we're lining the arch up with the heel of the front foot. So this foot's going to have to slide over this way so that your arch, or else you can turn this heel in too. Good, yep, the arch has to line up with the heel. So this is a nice wide stance. Whoops. What we're going to do is we're going to try to face forward. So we're not going to turn. We're going to try to face forward, and we're going to bend our right knee and get our right knee over that ankle, but we're not going to let it go past the ankle. So we're going to bring your knee a little bit forward, and you're going to lift this arch in order to keep that knee over those toes, and then you can float your arms up, and you can gaze out over your right hand. So we're not really turning, we're trying to keep this left hip back, keeping the shoulders over the hips and breathing. So if you're going to err on the knee, err behind the ankle, not past. Reach through the thumb and the little finger. Try to draw those hands out and away. Lift the chest and then drop the shoulders down and away from the ears. They're going to want to creep up. Externally rotate these thighs. Try to open them up and out. Release. That's Warrior Two. We're just going to turn our feet. Now our left heel is going to line up with our right arch. Toes are going to be closer to the midline. Trying to look forward, not to the left, looking forward. We're going to bend this left knee over that left ankle. Externally rotate those thighs. And then inhale the arms up and gaze out over your left hand. Drop the shoulders down and away from the ears. Lift the chest. Breathe. Shoulders are over the hips. Release. All right, we're going to do what's called a wide-legged forward fold. So, legs are wide, spread wide apart. The outside edges of the feet are going to be parallel to the outside edges of the mat. Creates an internal rotation. So try to bring those heels out to the sides. We're going to put the hands on the hips. Engage the belly whenever you come up and down. And we're going to inhale and we're going to exhale. Fold forward. Allow the arms to drop.
Let the head hang, and make sure there's some bend in your knee, that you're not hyperextending those knees. Lift the tailbone. If it's too much, bend the knees more. Get the hands to the floor and support yourself if it's pulling too much. Otherwise, just release into this nice fold.
Soften the head, the neck, the jaw. Breathe.
So to come up, bring your hands to the tops of your thighs, engage your belly, put your head straight on your spine and come up with a nice long spine. Use your hands to push yourself up. So you can heel toe in. So we're going to come onto our bellies and do some back bends here. All right, so first we're just going to lie down on our bellies. You can stack your hands under your head if you want. Rock your hips a little bit side to side. Some people like to bend their knees so the bottom of the feet are facing the ceiling and then just drop their feet a little bit side to side. You can play with that. See what works best for you. All right, so the first pose we're going to do is Sphinx pose, and it's very important to get the core engaged before you start any back bending. So ground, lift your right leg up and stretch it out behind you and set the tops of the toes on the floor. Set it down on the floor, then the left leg goes out, reach it behind you. Now ground the pubic bone and draw the low belly up, the area beneath the navel. So now the core is nice and strong, and we can bring our elbows underneath our shoulders. So with that core fully engaged, you shouldn't feel a big pinching here in the low back. If you do, then this pose might be too high for you and you probably shouldn't do that one. And if you have back injuries, the back bends are really difficult. Hands are out in front of us. We're going to try to draw our chest forward by drawing the elbows back just gently on the mat without actually moving the hands. And we look forward like the mighty Sphinx. Keep grounding the pubic bone, drawing the low belly up, engaging that core. You can look forward, but don't bring the head way back. Keep drawing those elbows back, actively engaging those elbows, drawing them back on the mat, drawing the chest forward, and release slowly. Rock your hips side to side. Taking a few breaths here. So the next back bend is Cobra. So lift your right leg back, stretch it back again. Left leg stretches back, ground the pubic bone, draw the low belly up. Hands come alongside the bodies, elbows are nice and close, the forehead can come to the floor, thumbs can be underneath the body. All right, so with that core fully engaged, the belly is drawing up strongly to support the back. We're going to inhale our head and chest up off the floor, but you're not going to push. I mean, you could lift your hands up if you wanted to, and I just want you to bring yourself up as far as you can, using only your back muscles. And if you can only come here, that's fine, or here, wherever you're at. That's just fine. But keep grounding through that pubic bone, drawing that low belly up, elbows nice and close to the side. So we're not going to push up, we're not going to force ourselves any deeper into this pose. It's all done by the back. So you can lift your hands a little bit, make sure you're just using your back, and then slowly release. Rock your hips side to side. All right, so we're slowly going to roll over onto our backs and hug our knees into our chests. So a nice hug of the knees into the chest. You can even rock a little bit side to side. All right. We're going to do a couple of variations on twists. So you can take your arms straight out to the side, and you can have your feet hip distance apart, and you can just drop your knees off to one side or the other. And that, let your head fall in the opposite direction. That might be a twist that you'd like. Or you can bring your knees back to center, extend your right leg long, put the bottom of your left foot on the inside of this right leg, right hand to the outside. I'm sorry. The left foot is on the inside of the right leg. The left hand comes to the outside of the right hand to the outside of the left leg. And roll to your right. I hope you can see this in the pictures. The backs of the shoulders are on the floor. It's crocodile twist. Yep. So if your left leg is extended, your right knee is bent, your left hand is on your right knee, and you roll to the left. Head falls to the right. Okay, bring your head back to center first, and then use your hand to bring your knee back up. Put both feet on the floor and lift your hips up. Straighten that spine. Now extend your right leg long. Bottom of the left foot is on the inside of that right knee. Right arm comes to the outside of the left leg, and you roll to the right. Left arm is straight out to the side like a T. Our head is going to fall to the left. Just fall. We're not going to push it down. The backs of the shoulders need to stay on the floor. So the back of her left shoulder here is still on the floor. It's not coming up with this twist. If your shoulder is off the floor, you have to move back into the pose. This should be a comfortable twist, one that you can just relax into. And otherwise, you can keep both knees bent and drop both knees over at the same time. You can also use blankets to support the twist. Find what works for you. This is called crocodile twist. All right, bring your head back to center and bring that knee back. You can use your hand. So we're going to do a long body stretch. Lift your hips, straighten your spine. Now lengthen your legs out long on the floor. Arms come overhead if your shoulders will tolerate this. Palms are going to face one another, and we're going to reach through the fingertips and through the heels. So flex your feet, press through the heels, the fingertips, and the crown of the head. The whole back of the body is lengthening. Okay, release that. Hug your knees one more time into your chest. And we'll try that pelvic clock. So the palms of the hands are going to go on top of the knees. You draw the knees towards the chest and then take them out to the side a little bit and start to make a circle. So what we're doing is we're imagining that our low back and middle back were the face of a clock. And as you draw your knees around, you touch each of the numbers to the floor, and it's nice and slow, nice and easy. It's a nice asana that releases any tension in the back of the body. So once your knees are over your chest, then you can take the circles in the other direction. So the focus is on the back of the body.
The focus is shifting the weight, and you don't want to rock a lot side to side. You only want to shift the weight. And then finish that circle. Hug those knees one last time, and then roll to your right and push yourself up. So we're going to set up for Shavasana. So you'll either want some cushion under, you can roll up cushion and put it underneath your knees to help take some of the pressure off of the low back. Or if you can't lie on your back and you'd rather lie on your side, that's fine for the whole time. You can do this however you want. So you need to find what makes you comfortable, because you're here for 10 minutes. So everybody take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And another deep breath in and a deep breath out. So what we're going to do is a progressive relaxation and end up in a wonderful white sand beach. All right, now let your breath return to normal. Don't force it, just allow the breath to come and go. And we'll start with our toes. So relax your toes and the area between your toes. Relax the bottoms of your feet from the balls of your toes all the way down to your heels that now rest heavy on the floor. Relax the tops of your feet from the balls of your toes all the way down to your ankles. Release your ankles and let your feet drop away. Now notice your shins and relax your shins. Let any tension in the shins drift down towards the calves that are now resting heavy and soft on the floor. Relax your knees, letting your kneecaps float above the legs and the backs of the knees rest heavy towards the floor. Now notice the tops of your thighs and release the tops of your thighs towards the backs of your thighs that are now resting heavy and soft on the floor. Relax your groin, let it sink and soften towards the back of the body. Relax your hips, your hip joints, your buttocks. Let everything settle heavy towards the floor. Now notice your low back gently arching above the floor and release your low back. Any tension in the low back drifts away. And now notice your middle back and release your middle back. Let the middle back rest heavy on the floor. And notice your upper back. Let the upper back soften, release, and let go. The whole back of the body is resting heavy on the floor. Now relax your belly, noticing the gentle rise and fall of the breath as the breath just comes and goes. Relax your internal organs. Everything beneath the belly sinks and softens towards the back of the body. Relax your ribs, and the muscles between your ribs relax, and the rib cage sinks heavy towards the floor. Relax your lungs, again noticing the ease as the lungs fill and the lungs empty. Relax your heart, notice it gently beating in the chest. And now release your upper chest, let it sink and soften towards the back of the body. Relax your shoulders from the front of the shoulders, the tops of the shoulders and the backs of the shoulders all rest heavy on the floor. Notice how heavy and soft the whole body is, resting on the floor. Now relax your fingers, feel them gently curving. The fingers are plump and heavy. Relax the roots of your thumbs and the palms of your hands and the backs of your hands all rest heavy towards the floor. Relax your wrists, let your hands fall away. Now release your lower arms, let them rest heavy towards the floor. And relax your elbows, any tension in the elbows drifts away. And relax the upper arms. The upper arms are heavy and soft, sinking towards the floor. Now relax your neck from the front of the neck all the way through to the back of the neck. The neck is heavy and soft. And relax your jaw and let your mouth drop open slightly. Relax your tongue, it will feel plump in your mouth, and the back of the throat will feel hollow. Relax your cheeks and your sinuses relax, and the face drops heavy towards the floor. Relax your nose and let it sink into the face. And relax your eyes, let them float in the sockets. Relax your forehead so that the skin becomes smooth. Relax your ears and your inner ears relax. Relax your temples, letting them fall inward. Relax the top of the head. And release the back of the head that's now resting so very heavy on the floor. Now imagine you've just stepped out onto a white sand beach. The sky is a brilliant blue and the sun is shining brightly. There are white clouds and birds in the distance, and there's a warm ocean breeze. And the ocean is a beautiful blue-green. Begin to move towards the water and notice how soft and warm the sand is under your feet and between your toes. And as you approach the water, notice the waves roll in and out in time with your breath. The water is shallow and clear and amazingly warm like bath water. Step in, it's warm on your feet and your ankles, your shins and your calves, your knees and your thighs, and now sit back on a wave and allow the wave to rock you in time with your breath, in the warmth of the sun. There's nothing to do or undo. There's nothing to force. There's nothing to want. And there's nothing that's missing. Allow yourself this time to drift. You are wonderful beings, filled with light and love, perfect exactly as you are. Slowly bring your awareness back to your body. You can deepen your breath. You can wiggle your fingers and toes. You can gently rock your head side to side. And when you are ready, you can bend your knees and roll to your right side and stay there. And when you are ready, use both hands to push yourself up to seated, bringing your head up last as if it's very heavy. Come to a comfortable seated position. We'll take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. May you be healthy. May you be joyful. May you be safe. May you be free. Namaste.